And welcome to the Credence and Bishop Show. We are live with you on this, what damn day is today? Thursday now, finally. Add Bishop over here, who's at the demolition derby, apparently.
Hi. How are you?
Well, hello there. Good,
hello there.
man. How about you? Mike,
I'm
you okay
well.
down there? He's still muted, so I might want to unmute him.
Thank you. Many thanks. Hello,
Big
gentlemen.
Show tonight. Coming up here in a few minutes, going to talk to our old friend Stormy Daniels. Haven't had her on the show in, what is our guess, boys? What do you think? How long?
Woo. 2010?
Yeah, that was what I would say.
Somewhere in there.
Are you over on Twitch, or do you have a big fan? Which one is it?
Big fan base over on Twitch. They're always
Nice.
catching me on there all the time.
Damn, look at Wendy. Is on early tonight. Hi, Wendy.
Wendy is on it.
Well, and now she just about scared the crap out of us because that comment came in about 10 minutes before we even went live. So
Yeah, I didn't know that was
Wait a
even
minute.
humanly possible.
I was like, how the hell did you do that?
Kudos to her.
So anyways, yeah.
So she's ready. She's primed and ready. She's ready. She's
Yes,
like, come on.
she is.
Let's
got her
get to
chips.
it.
She is.
She's ready.
All right, so
But
we're
no,
going to
I
talk
would
to no,
I
go
would
ahead.
say, 8 years, probably.
At least, right?
At
Yeah.
At
least.
least. At the
God,
It's been a busy
Yes.
8 years. A lot's happened.
Lots to catch up on. And so she's doing something really cool with paranormal. And, we've always been fans of paranormal stuff. So it'll be interesting to catch up, see how our things are going. And with that, so.
It's always nice to catch up with an old friend. It really is someone that we've had on the show. A lot of people don't realize that we used to do radio, which I guess is the big important thing. And, we made a lot of friends, especially in the adult business. We were very deep. AVN even did stories on us before.
Thank you,
Stories.
Deborah. First time listener.
Deborah. Hey,
long-time caller.
Deborah. But,
Is that how you imagine Deborah sounding?
No.
no, that's Deborah's friend.
Yeah, if I saw Deborah walking out and I was doing the newspaper at the same time, I'd say, hey, Deborah,
Gotcha.
how you doing?
Deborah, what you doing?
That's how I would say it.
Why don't you got a mask on?
Yeah, I would attack her right before she got out of her house.
I bought a new damn mask, and everywhere I went today, there was 0 masks. So I felt like an idiot, but I still wore mine.
Right. I'm proud of
more than 75% of the time. I got one of those masks though that are like around your neck, and you just pull it right up.
You can't wear that into Disney World, by the way.
That's
They will
right.
not.
Won't be
Those
there
are
for
not
a while.
allowed. Not allowed.
I'm gonna do what Tony did and build a $7,000 pool rather than go to Disney.
That's always a good plan. It's a good
Yeah.
fallback kind of thing.
Does your
Right?
mask have a design or is it just
They were real slim pickings, and I'm really
Zebra.
cheap. Got it off of eBay, so it was just like some camo print or something.
That's better than mine. I have one like that, and there was very slim pickings, and I have an American flag that wraps around my face. At one point, I
Yeah.
feel that I'm doing something right. Next point, I feel like I'm desecrating the flag by wearing it on my nasty face. That's just me, though.
Nice.
well, I think if you wear any sort of flag, you're desecrating it, Mikey.
Absolutely.
If I saw that, I would pour gasoline on your head and get rid of that flag. Not that I want to burn the flag, but that's what you're supposed to do when someone desecrates it. Or
Once
drops
once it's fallen on dirty grounds,
Right.
get rid of it.
it.
Absolutely.
That's what I would do.
Just like you do with your mask. You're apparently just supposed to throw them around in the, wherever you're at when you're done with them. Just throw them on the ground.
They're
Find that and
everywhere.
gloves.
They
That and
are.
gloves. Yep.
My thing is remember when we had nothing to worry about and we were worried about sea turtles with straws? Like, how do you think the sea turtles are doing with all the latex gloves that's in the ocean? It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
No big deal.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, we've got Stormy down below, and I think we're ready.
Stormy
to bring her
down
on.
below.
If she's ready. You ready? Big thumbs up. Yeah, all right.
You're
All
ready.
Welcome
Come
back
on
to the show,
in.
Stormy Daniels.
Stormy
Hello.
Daniels. Look at this. Look at this awesome bus she's on. I mean, come on. I heard
Love
you're
it.
on the tour bus, basically going around playing Ghostbuster, doing something we all wish we were doing right now on this show. Who was that guy, by the way? There was a ghost right behind you. I saw it.
That's Anya. She's on my show with me. Say hi, Anya. Hi.
Hi.
What's up? I love your earrings.
Oh, girl,
She
thank you.
made
I
them.
makes them.
You make them?
Yeah, dude, raccoon jawbones, rotten honey.
I was about to say, is that a jawbone of a small human?
I thought it was a toddler jawbone.
It's human. So if you want to donate yours, I'm more than happy to put them into
Well, mine are a bit larger than that, so I'll get right on it though.
Okay, wow.
All right.
Stormy. It has been quite a while. We're guessing 10 years, maybe 11 since the last time we talked to you.
I think so.
You were on our terrestrial radio show all the time. Yeah, all the time. Nothing's happened with you, and nothing's happened with us either.
Hanging out, doing nothing.
Yeah, no big deal.
You kind of fell off the map.
So boring.
You doing well? Is everything great with you now?
Oh, it's been quite a ride. At least I can't say I'm bored.
Well, I mean, would you say now is a good time to be Stormy Daniels now that you're kind of, stepped away from different things that might be distractions, and now you're doing something I guess you have a real passion for? Because I saw some things you had tweeted out on Instagram, and you talked about just like how you've been watching paranormal shows and your experiences are so much different than the professional paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
What made you do this?
Okay, so I used to just think I was crazy, but I had pretty heightened intuition my whole life, and 1 or 2 big paranormal experiences a year, like stuff that you're like undeniable. That really just happened, and you can, if you go to the Instagram page, you can actually see a video of something that happened to me 10 years ago. And about a year and a half ago, I moved into a house in New Orleans. It was about 200 years old, and I'm from there. And I know how it's supposedly like one of the most haunted cities in the world.
Right.
But this house that I moved into was next level. And I did a count. 22 people came over to my house, and in the year that I lived there, and out of the 22, 21 had pretty substantial paranormal activity happen. I got paranoid because my ex didn't believe any of this stuff was real. And I put cameras up afterwards, after we broke up, and I got stuff on video, audio. I got ghosts calling his name. I got shadows, blood running down the wall of the house.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
Blood
I was going to ask
running down the walls.
Yeah, I had to call it an exorcist. And then I started, people love ghosts, and I began talking to people about this stuff, and just more and more strange things started happening to me. And I went to a house in Kansas called the Sally House that's notoriously haunted, and I got scratched, and we have the whole thing on film. And ever since then, I just see and hear things pretty much all the time. So I started the show Spooky Babes, and we don't call it ghost or haunted anything because you can't rely on ghosts to perform on cue. And I think that's where some of the other paranormal shows get in trouble, because if you have ghost in your title and you don't have a ghost, you might be to. So ours is
false advertisement. Yeah,
ours is just spooky because it was our intention to also do a little bit of history. We're going to go up to Salem and go to the where they did the Salem witch trials and stuff like that. And if nothing scary happens, but it's still just a lot of fun. But we've been on the road for 4 days now, and it's been pretty overwhelming. We've gotten EVPs, orbs, shadow figures, disembodied voices, 2 exorcisms, and I'm pretty sure we had a confession last night to somebody.
God.
I mean, it's been pretty intense. And
it's a jam-packed show.
In 4 days, you've done all that?
Yeah.
They didn't do that much in damn Ghost Hunters for 2 seasons. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, we're parked outside of a haunted theater right now where are we? Am I going to ask my restaurant? North Carolina?
Where?
We're in North Carolina.
We're in North Carolina.
We're in Charlotte.
North Carolina.
We're in Charlotte. And my team is inside right now filming, and I came out to talk to you guys. But yeah, I thought we were going to get over 4 days. I thought we'd get enough footage to do like a trailer and 1 episode. But I think we're about 6 episodes in 4 days, and it's been
nice,
fucking nuts.
Well, see, you talk about haunted theaters. Now, we used to have a theater that we did the radio show from. Jesus. The old radio station we were with was inside of a 1940s movie theater. It was the very first one built in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It was called the Iwo Jima Theater. And the story went that the real projectionist guy had killed one of the girls that worked there.
Oh wow!
And not too long after that, basically, when you went in there, they hadn't torn anything out. They built the floor over where the seats were. You know how that goes down? They just put a floor over the top of it. And when you walked, it was like an echo all the time when you're walking. And they still had all the projection stuff and everything up in the attic. Wow. And we used to put people up in the attic at Halloween, and people would practically shit their pants and take off down there.
You're not my friend.
The people that worked there, like all the other disc jockeys and stuff, I had a few times where like I was running the board for the morning show, and I would basically sleep while I worked. I'd have my head down, and I had the door shut, and this door was super hard to push open. And all of a sudden, it's completely dark in there except for the board. All of a sudden, I feel someone standing in front of me, and I lift up my head to look, and I don't see anyone. But I could swear to God there was someone there. Like, you would get creepy feelings all the time. Like, if you went upstairs.
Well, we wouldn't go upstairs. We would never go upstairs. And over on the side where, like, the offices were, I mean, after a certain point of the night, we wouldn't even want to go over there alone. I'm serious. All grown adults don't even want to walk down a hallway.
And we were doing 6 to midnight. We were doing 6 to midnight at that point, and there'd be nights we'd sit there and you could hear someone else talking in the microphone. It'd be the only ones in the whole place.
Oh wow!
So you better be careful inside this haunted theater.
I had never seen it. Yeah. I know a lot of other DJs had said that we had just this one little window that you could see out to the hallway, and they would see like balls being thrown by and things like that.
That's not like my day job, though. Well, yeah, no. The other night when we were in Savannah, I saw a shadow. We're reviewing the footage now because it was a dark figure, but it wasn't a shadow. It was pretty solid. And we, one of my partners, Justin, and I were trying to provoke it. The girl that you just saw, Anya, was outside, and it went through that wall, and she was attacked, and she actually spent the night in the hospital.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So how do you provoke a ghost?
I don't know. How do you provoke a ghost?
Do you shit talk it or what? I mean, how does that happen? Do you just like yell at it, call it bad names?
I don't know. Justin, how do you provoke a ghost? This is my partner, Justin.
Hello.
What's up, Justin?
Hi, Justin.
How do you provoke a ghost? Well, let's see. Where do I start?
I'm telling about what happened.
What happened with Anya? Okay, so you yell at it like it's a kid in trouble.
Okay.
You call it out, and then you have me, who's like the little brother who's like, yeah, man, don't mess with her. If you mess with her, you mess with me.
Gotcha.
So,
and then you get the other one hurt just because you're being a jerk. You end up getting the other one hurt. Trying to attack you.
I know, right? I was waiting for it to attack me, but trust me, Anya will never let me live it down.
Yeah,
you said she had to go to the hospital. What happened to her? She looked pretty good right there when I saw her a while ago. What happened to her?
So I guess while all of this was going on, like we were done with the investigation, and we were downstairs. Me and Stormy were downstairs talking to like the manager or the owner, whoever let us in, and then we just see 2 ambulances pull up, and we're like, "Oh shoot, what's going on?" So we run outside. Anya went into anaphylactic shock apparently from getting bitten by a fire ant.
But there were no fire ants, and there couldn't find any bites in her body. And I don't know about you, but when the second you get bit by a fire ant, you feel it. And
Absolutely.
She said she didn't feel anything. Me and her and all the nurses, because she was in the emergency room all night, couldn't find any bites. She hadn't eaten or drink anything either. So
no, it's not like she was under the influence of anything.
No, absolutely not. And they did a whole panel of drug testing and allergy testing, couldn't find anything. But I mean, she was foaming at the mouth and all kinds of things.
It was she was like cross-eyed on a stretcher, but still looked fabulous, which is
really
I've seen this movie. You guys better watch out tonight because I think she might kill one of y'all. I'm just going to let you know she might be possessed, and she may kill one of y'all tonight.
No, it's not possessed anymore, and I can run faster than her, so I have that going for me.
Do you guys go into these places and never get scared? I mean, you were talking about blood running down the walls of your house, and you didn't go running out the door. I mean, why are you not afraid of these things?
What's wrong with us?
I don't know.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. We get scared. I get, Justin cries.
Not because I'm sad or scared. Well, it's not because I'm sad. It's just it's like an instinct. Like I feel something and I just start tearing up. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
If Justin tears up, we know to get the hell out because that's our trigger.
Yeah, wow. That's true. But I never get scared. It's more of a fascination, growing up and watching these shows with like paranormal investigators, and like I get excited when stuff starts to happen because it's like, oh man, like I'm witnessing it for myself,
Yeah.
Right.
So that's,
I guess with Justin, he was one of the 22 I was mentioning who came to my house in New Orleans and witnessed stuff there.
oh, yeah.
He had a really scary experience in the bathroom at my house, and we did an investigation at a property in Mississippi called The House in Between. They actually have a documentary out right now. You can watch it. It's pretty intense. And one of the investigators there has a doll named Susan that is from the house in The Conjuring, right?
Actually, so it's from Ed and Lorraine Warren's museum that they have with all of the haunted artifacts.
Okay.
This gentleman acquired it from like an auction or something, and it's just this little doll that came with the case, but it was in there for a while.
Right. It came from Annabelle, I thought, or something.
All I remember of the story is that it was allegedly owned by this 15-year-old girl who died of cancer.
Yeah. The doll's name is
Oh, wow.
Susan, and it hypnotized Justin pretty much. He carried this doll around during the investigation, and at one point he had to put it down because we were breaking for dinner, and he was talking to the doll, and he asked, "Do you like when I hold you?" And he put her down because we were laughing about it. And when we came back later and checked the recorders, the doll says yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Completely
So
clear. I can play it for you if you want.
What do you think these we call them spirits? What do we call these people that you're encountering in these what we call them? I mean, what's the name for them?
Entities, because that's kind of like all encompassing. Some are ghosts, some are spirits, some were human and have never been human. Some are, I hate to use the word demon, but that's a real thing.
The D word.
The D word. So entity sort of covers all of it. Some, I guess the thing you get the most excited about is an intelligent response. You ask it a question and it responds. You go into some places and it's just energy or a stain or an echo, like it's on a loop and it won't interact with you and it can't cause any harm. It can't move anything. And then sometimes people who believe they're haunted are actually doing it themselves. And those are, that's a poltergeist. And the movie Poltergeist actually ruined the meaning of that word because most people think that that's what it is. But the true definition, right, of a poltergeist is there is no other entity involved. It's the person's own telekinesis, basically.
Yeah, it's just whatever's attached to them, and it doesn't matter. Like any environment they go into, it's going to be affected the same way because it's the person, not the space.
Stormy, Deborah had a question. Is Bob Mackey's on your wish list to investigate?
I think it's so done. Don't you think so?
I
want to go there.
Of course, I want to go there.
He wants to go there.
Just as a tourist or whatever. But it's I feel like with this, we're really just focusing on places off the beaten path that haven't been done so many times because it gets very oversaturated. And you get the same stuff, like the same stories, same responses, at least once in one of these shows. So it's refreshing to go to other places, And
we do private investigations. Last night was a private residence. They called us up and had a problem, and we went. And it's never been filmed. Nobody knows about it. It's not a place that anybody else can investigate. And we were standing in the hallway. I knew nothing about the property. I got there, and there was a spot under the stairs, and I instantly felt something. And I called some other of my team members down, and they all kind of had the same thing. I was like, I feel very anxious here. And it felt, you literally could step around the spot and it would be, you couldn't feel it. So called the homeowner over and asked if he knew the history of that part of the house, and come to find out somebody had hung themselves there in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I had no way of knowing that.
What sort of equipment do you guys use on the regular? What's your go-to stuff?
So we use police body cams because they have great night vision, and we can wear them so that our hands can be free. And we've actually gotten really great footage of that. And you can wear them on the front or the back, which they go both ways. I like that because nothing can sneak up behind us. We have obviously little recorders for EVP, Spirit Box, which we haven't really played around with too much. Yeah. They get a lot of interference from radio stations since we're in the city. We have a millimeter. You always want to set up like a trigger object if you think there's child spirits around. And then we have a medium and an exorcist, and we're all sensitive. So we just wait for Justin to start crying.
I love it.
The Justin cry meter. Like you're just watching.
Yeah, we all have different like different reactions. He'll tear up. I get like goosebumps.
Yeah, no.
Do you feel like maybe you guys are more sensitive to this kind of thing than most people? Because I mean, it doesn't seem like this is something just anybody can go out and have these experiences, because it seems like maybe you guys are special in some sort of way, other than the ways you already are special. But do you think that it's almost like a gift or extra sense?
Yeah, definitely. But it's something that everybody has to some degree, and they just don't pay attention to it. For some people, it's more so. We all have the thing where you think about somebody and they call, or you know the next song that's going to come on the radio. And just like anything else, I believe that some people are more gifted than others. Mine's definitely after moving into the house in New Orleans and then getting scratched. He was with me at the house in Kansas where the thing came after me. And ever since then, I can't really explain what I can do.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's been lots of witnesses, and last night actually at the house there was another gentleman there that's mother came through as a spirit and started talking to us, and it was a very, very emotional. We were lucky enough to catch it on camera because it wasn't originally part of our plan. This was just a guy there to do my hair, and we were sitting out on the balcony, the patio, talking, and he started talking about his mother, and then I was like, "Is her name such and such?" And I got her name right and her favorite color, and I knew she died of breast cancer, and she had a very emotional, distinct message for her son, and I was able to pass it on and give him some peace.
Well, we just found out last week. Yeah, we learned from John Crawley, who was a medium and a psychic.
Yeah.
He was because we didn't know a whole lot about that, and during talking with him, he said that basically everybody has it, just doesn't realize that it's but everybody has that power, if you will,
ability,
quote, unquote.
Right.
Yeah, ability. There you go.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's people that either they choose to address it or embrace it, and people that just want to ignore it because they're too scared.
Yeah.
You know,
they wanted you guys to wear masks. I told them females can't wear masks.
The other thing, we're doing a show.
No, he can go ahead. We're listening.
That's fine. That was fun to listen
Females,
to.
no mask. Go ahead.
No mask.
Inside
What
baseball.
was I going to say? I don't know what I'm saying. I can't remember.
Throw him off the bus right now.
You're off.
No, I was telling we were telling the show about what happened last night, and I feel like I can't even do it justice. About the mediumship or whatever.
Insane. Just show them the picture of me crying.
Did you hear Joel?
Does everybody cry? I mean, come on.
This is Joel. He's worked for me for like 10 years.
Come on,
Hi,
Joel.
Joel.
You don't look like the kind of guys walking around crying about everything.
Right?
He's worked for me for 10 years, and last night was the first time I've seen him cry.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like I mean, you've been pulled into this world of Stormy's now learned she's got these abilities in a way. She's learned how to, step outside the normal and able to do the things that she can do that she says all of us can do. Do you feel like maybe being around them now you're going to be able to experience all these things too, just because you're like feeding off their energy?
It's not that I going to experience them. I've been experiencing it. This whole trip, I've experienced stuff that I thought I'd never see in my life. And if I wasn't a believer, I'm definitely it's not that you're a believer or not. It's real. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
last time I heard you say that, I was like, "Oh, you're real, man."
Hi, Justin. We'll see you crying later.
Yeah, Justin.
It was great to meet you guys.
Great meeting you. You've got the best goatee on the bus, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man.
Joel's like, "Can I just go back to filming you blowing people?"
Oh my!
He was on most of the movies I shot for Wicked.
He thought that was a way safer set than where you're at now. Because I mean, it sounds like you're only 4 days in. How long is this stretch you guys are doing? And where all are you guys going?
So we did Atlanta, Savannah, Charleston, Charlotte, and tomorrow we go to Nashville. And then we have a break because we need to edit all this footage and put it together and learn. This is our first time, so we kept it short. And so we need to kind of learn from our mistakes and things that we can do better, things that were a waste of time, what equipment worked, what it didn't. You don't want to book like a 3-week thing and not know what you're doing. And we truly had no idea what we were doing, and we're not expecting the level of paranormal activity that we got.
Wow.
How did someone contact you? You said last night you did like a private,
Residents.
Like, how does someone contact you and let you know, like, hey, I think my place is haunted?
We have an email address on our Instagram, and our Instagram is Spooky Babes Show. And then there's an email address on there, and we've had a bunch of people contact us about coming out. And of course, I'm sure some of those aren't actual hauntings. It's just some weirdos that want to meet Stormy or, the rest of the hotness here.
Mike,
like, how do you figure out like who's gonna just be like, oh, I just want to hang out with Stormy Daniels and make up a story about ghosts? Like, do you have like a runner car? Like before the bus comes, the runner car drives by the neighborhood to make sure it's cool.
Hey, if the check clears, that's how we're going.
There you go.
Hey, I'll come to your house if it's haunted or not for the right amount of money. just know that you're gonna be on TV going, I just wanted to meet you.
I just want to meet you, baby.
Mike over on
my life way easier and a lot less dangerous.
Mike over on YouTube asked Stormy, do you have a podcast? And if not, you should get one.
I do have a podcast. It's called Taking the World by Stormy.
Wow, name. I like that.
What a great name. Damn. And we got the Credence and Bishop Show. What a piece of shit name that is.
Podcast naming.
Oh my God. So you're out on the road, you're doing all these things. You feel like this is going to be, with this series, I mean, is this going to get picked up by a network? Are we going to see this on, Sci-Fi Channel? Where are we going to be able to see all this once you get this done?
We have 5 different platforms interested in us now, and I was very adamant about doing this my way, so I'm producing these first to see, and what if nothing happened in this? I wouldn't want to embarrass myself in front of a production company, and I was very adamant as well about getting the vision I wanted and letting it happen. So we're going to put it together and then shop it. I really want to get something like Netflix, like a streaming platform. I obviously, with who I am and my reputation and how bad my language is, I'm not going to be on regular television. So my dream would be like a streaming platform like Netflix or Amazon. Worst case, I'll just put it up on YouTube or my website and see where it goes. But the response has been overwhelming. And, even the stuff the one location we went to that, to my knowledge, we didn't get anything. We're not done with all the footage because it's just been like balls to the wall. Was a jail in Charleston. I don't think we really got a lot of activity there, but we got a great history lesson, and it looks really cool. And sometimes that's the case. So the show is totally real. And then last night was the one that I wasn't sure we were going to get anything because it's not known to be haunted. It's a private residence. Like, who knows if this person's just crazy or not? And we probably got the best footage yet last night.
Right.
Have you picked out like a format yet? I mean, have you are you going to show and then go through and maybe debunk stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
We've debunked a lot of stuff. We debunked some stuff with the House of Mississippi. We use a lot of scientific stuff. And I think what makes our show the most different is that we also have an aftercare program that's going to be in place. Because sometimes when you watch these shows, if it's a residence that's occupied and you have these people experiencing activity, whether they're being attacked or having nightmares or being held down, or they're seeing shadows or orbs, or they're getting like physically assaulted, like happened to me. And that's one of the reasons I started this. At first, people thought I was crazy. I'm like, I'm hearing this stuff happening in my house. Light bulbs are blowing. There's knocking. My dog. I'm seeing shadows out of the corner of my eye. The person I was dating at the time got held down in the bathtub and attacked me.
Wow.
The blood running. And I mean, the stuff escalated. And people were like, "Sure, Stormy, your house is haunted." And so it just makes me wonder how many people are out there that are experiencing stuff and are either too afraid to come forward because they'll be called crazy, or they have come forward and people think that they're crazy and they're not. And so you watch these shows sometimes, especially the ones where the house is basically too dangerous to live in and people can't afford to move. So I really want to focus on helping people afterwards and normalizing treatment options and different things, and how to protect themselves from other activity, I guess, coming back. Because I know that once you experience it once, it's highly likely it's going to happen again.
those are two great things about this show. Even before I've even seen one episode, is that for one, you named the show Nothing Ghost. That way, like you said, there's history lessons and stuff in case. Because the worst thing about those shows is like watching it for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and the guy's like, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen, and nothing happened. Second, what you just said, I've always wondered that. Like, you see this crazy shit happen at this house, and then at the end, the people are like, "All right, cool, take it easy."
And you know what? Like sometimes you go to a house and say there's this kid, and they say, "Oh, my 10-year-old daughter has been having nightmares and something. She's been seeing stuff, and she's having these experiences." And you go into the house and you're expecting to find something. Like, even if you don't find something, even if it's just like, oh no, you have faulty wiring or pipes, or there's this is a thing, you have a gas leak and it's making your family hallucinate. So not only do we debunk that, but in a child's mind, these things really happen to them. So they're going to at least need some counseling. You know what I mean? At the very least. And sometimes you really do find that there's an attachment or a paranormal activity. And so you want to tell people how to like heal themselves and then protect themselves from it happening again. And so we have a team, an aftercare team that aren't even focused on these first episodes, that are going to offer counseling and horseback therapy, because I also ride and train horses, Reiki, meditation, yoga, how to protect your house. And I'm also learning a lot of the science stuff about this, that some places are already predisposed to have more activity. And there's a couple things that I've realized, like whether it's like lines in the ground, houses that are have a lot of limestone in the soil are more conduits for, think about it. Your computer screen, the screen that we're talking to each other right now on, is made out of crystal. So if you live in an area that has a lot of crystal limestone in the soil, how is that not going to conduct more energy?
Right, makes sense. I got a question from Paul.
I'm excited about all the nerd gadgets.
Nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
All the question from Paul, but I wanted to ask, how do you deal? What is your stance like dealing with that with a child? If a child knows that there's a haunting, do you just come right out and say it? I don't know how I would deal with that as a parent. Like, do you kind of just cover that up, or do you just come right out and say, listen, there's some weird stuff? It's not easy.
I'm not sure. So far, that's a very good question. See, I guess you have to look at each situation. First thing you want to do is rule out stuff. Children will lie. I don't know how many of you are parents. They will lie to get attention, and you don't want to encourage it and scare them, but you also don't want to not believe them. Does your child have an imaginary friend all of a sudden? Perhaps you should maybe look into that. I don't know. But I do know that if a child believes it, whether it's real or not, it's still traumatic for them.
Yeah. Paul over on Facebook says, cool to hear you live. Quick question. Do your premonitions extend to the living? And then he gives an example, like, did you have a feeling something was about to go down before it did in Columbus, whenever that was? Thanks.
Absolutely. And now I've learned to listen to that. I had a feeling. I remember pulling up. Remember that, Dave? My bus driver's sitting over here, and he's been driving for 2 years. And we pulled up, and I was like, I have a bad feeling about tonight. I did it. Come here, Dave. This is my driver, Dave. He's been with me for 2 years, and he'll tell you. Remember when we pulled up in Columbus, and I was like, I have a bad feeling about this place?
Absolutely.
And it happened again. I had a bad feeling when we got to that club down in Texas, and I was like, I have a really bad feeling, guys. And I made my bodyguard stand on all four corners of my bus outside with their weapons, and I didn't even go off the bus to catch air. And I was like, something bad is going to happen tonight. And I couldn't figure it out. And sure enough, that's the club that they didn't pay me. Remember?
Yes.
Is that the one you had to sue?
We got our money eventually, but it was a big deal. The police were called.
Oh, wow.
There was a bad storm that night for my second show, and the customers left, and they said they didn't have enough cash to pay me, and they were going to write me a check, and then they didn't. I forgot my checkbook at home. Come back tomorrow morning, and we went back the next morning, and nobody was there.
Ooh.
But I not call it.
Yes, you did. Spot on.
I think that's I've heard so many horror stories about things like that, especially with bands. And like, I remember this fellow on MC Chris, got almost exactly the same type of thing where it didn't get any money and had to track him down, go after him. I had to go after him on social media after months and months because it's not like he even has money to be going after him with lawyers and stuff. It's a very common thing. That's crazy though.
Yeah, but I called it the two times in the 2 years that Dave's been driving for me that I said, "Oh, guys, I got a bad feeling about this." One time I go to jail, and then the other time I didn't get paid. So,
Tracy and Caitlin. Tracy and Caitlin says, "Please don't do it like the Dead Files. They tell everyone to leave. I am sensitive too. I'm crazy too. So they say, LOL."
I like the Dead Files, but I don't know if she means like they tell the living to leave or the spirits to leave. I'm not sure what she's meaning. I watch that show. Sometimes they do tell them to leave. Sometimes they're like, this place is not ever going to be safe. And if that's the case, I want to be able to help people get out if they want to. Very often people don't want to leave their home. They want to stay and fight. That's fine.
I think we already talked about an instinct being a gift, and even if you miss it,
it's pretty much a thing that she basically says all of us have. We just aren't listening to it. We aren't tapping into it. We're not being open-minded enough. Yeah. But I mean, aren't you afraid ever? Do you ever like lay down at night to go to sleep and you're like, okay, what was that? Did something just touch my foot? I mean, do you not get paranoid in a way when you deal with so much stuff like this? I mean, it has to be on your mind all the time. Yeah,
the stuff I experienced living in the house in New Orleans was so terrible that I've already seen, that's not a challenge universe. I'm not going to say I haven't seen the worst of the worst, but I mean, I've seen some pretty terrible stuff, and I lost somebody very close to me because of this, and they don't believe, but I saw what happened, and yeah, I just feel like I have to find the answers.
I mean, this is basically, in a way, you're looking out to help people and trying to get things out there, but at the same time, you're trying to heal yourself. It seems like too, because this is I can feel it's kind of been painful for you, and this is like a like a redemption kind of in a way, because this is going to show that you aren't crazy,
right? Absolutely.
Unquote.
That's the main reason that I started this show. I just had no idea that I was going to be so successful in capturing what I wanted to capture. But yeah, somebody told me I was crazy and didn't believe the things we were experiencing in our home. And this person no longer speaks to me. And they won't look at the evidence I've captured, even though I have spirits on film saying this person's name. And the best paranormal people in the business have reviewed my footage. Last time I counted, I think I'm up to 52 people who will say without a doubt that they believe me and they've seen it. I mean, I could show you stuff right now. I have voices, video, everything you can imagine. And who knows what we're going to get tonight. Sorry, Dave. I don't know what's getting on the bus tonight.
So here's the big question. With all these experiences and everything you've seen and know now, is this going to reshape the way you think of the afterlife? Is the afterlife what we think it is? Or are we all just kind of like stuck in this little snow globe and we're bouncing off each other?
So this is a great question, and I don't have the answers to the second part of your question, but I will tell you that I am no longer afraid of dying.
It's pretty deep.
I still am. I'm going to say, I'm going to go on record. I wish I could be more like you then at this point.
All right, now let me rephrase it. I'm afraid of dying because it seems like that part of the process probably sucks and is very often painful. I'm not afraid of death or being dead.
So you think once we, right? So basically, you think once we all die, we just kind of hang out. Is that it, or is there another dimension? It's kind of like
that's what I keep finding. Yes, I think there's all of the above, and there's something that we don't even know yet.
It's a great one from Deborah, because I was thinking about this. It's a whole new level in Nolans. I mean, it's a whole different level as far as with the voodoo stuff and the voodoo dolls. She says, being from New Orleans, what is your take or opinion on voodoo versus hoodoo? And what are you open to versus closed to? Is this like some, I've never heard of
I have no idea what hoodoo is.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about, Deborah?
The hell is hoodoo?
Yeah, I'm not exactly completely sure of the difference either, but I do have a traditional voodoo practitioner that I'm very good friends with that gives the show advice and helps me, and I've seen what he can do as well. A lot of those practices adopt like Catholic and stuff. created in secrecy. It was, they came over during the slave trades and had to hide a lot of their practices. It's a very eclectic, like voodoo is such an eclectic religion. Everybody practices it differently. It's got a lot of Catholic in it, a lot of Native American aspects. Obviously that's where like people think of as zombies, things like that. I don't practice voodoo, even though I'm actually wearing a voodoo charm because my friend, actually this one, Matt, made for me. I'm open to all of it. That's the great thing about this is I'm learning something every day that I didn't think was possible.
Well, we're definitely going to have to catch up with you when you're done because I want to find out some of the in-depth secrets. I want to hear some of these things because I don't think I can sit around and wait for the Netflix series. I got to know now. I'm one of those guys. And I
am blown away. I thought we'd come out on the road and get like, if we were lucky, 1 or 2 things, and it's been like 1 or 2 things an hour. Like I'm telling you, I had a my friend Anya, who was on earlier, was absolutely, something attacked her and she went to the hospital and we had to have an exorcist come out and perform like a full blown, and here's the best part, not the best part.
Tell us the best part about your friend being attacked.
Was while this was happening, we were driving down the road and I have the entire thing on video. My friend and bus driver Dave is like waving at me like, hey, how are you not forgetting to say this? We were driving down the road. They were in the back lounge of my tour bus. He's performing. I was sitting up here. I didn't even know what was going on at first because shit went down in the back. And I was like, why did I hear some kind of Latin chanting? And I go back there and he's chanting Latin over her and all this weird stuff. And when he told the demon to come out of her, the bus tire blew directly under her axle and wrapped around the axle and locked this whole bus up and blew out the headlights. The bus exploded like this, and we were.
Okay.
It was.
You guys got to be more careful. I'm just going to say this now.
Got to be a little more careful. Best paranormal show ever. Okay, even if Stormy and her hot friend weren't.
I don't know if you can see that, but my bus driver got video of it like wrapped around.
Oh wow!
God, yeah.
Oh my
God, that's crazy. Now I'm worried for you. I think we should all be concerned. We should all talk to somebody tonight.
Maybe not, perform an exorcism on a moving bus.
No shit. Here, I'll show you. Hang on, before we go, just so people don't think I'm crazy. Yeah. And I've posted some stuff on the Instagram, and I am still in the adult business. That is how I still make my money. I am funding this myself. So if you want to see some of the stuff that's like too hot or too inappropriate or whatever, because I'm always inappropriate, you can check it out on my OnlyFans, which I won't show you that right here, but.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Just so that you see here, bear with me. Oh, well, here's another picture of the tire.
That's crazy.
But while that was going on,
oh,
Jesus. I mean, this was just on my cell phone. We had like
right
going and everything as well.
That's scary for sure.
And you'll have to watch the show to see
there you go.
To see what happens after that. But I mean, and it's been a pretty wild ride for sure, and I have no explanation for some of what's happening.
Well, everybody needs to make sure they keep up with you now, because this is you never know where this might lead. You don't know what if this series will it end in tragedy. I mean, it seems like it's cursed already. I'm very concerned.
Seriously, be careful. Holy
Please
crap.
be careful.
Jesus Christ.
Please be careful.
I'll be all right.
I'm worried about Dan more than anything else, though. Tell Dan, please be careful. He's the man. I like his singing on Instagram. He's a great guy. Now, please be careful. Come back and see us, and tell everybody where they can go keep up with you in this whole spooky adventure.
So obviously you can follow me on. Everybody should follow me on Twitter, because Twitter's my favorite sport. And then it's Instagram is Spooky Babes Show. And then you can also check out, onlyfans.com/Stormy Daniels, which has some of my adult content, but I've been posting, some of the stuff that I can't put in the show on there. And I'm not turning my back on adult. I shot, it's so funny. They're doing interviews about paranormal activity in one room, and in the other room, I'm taking naked photos for my website. You got to diversify.
What a job.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're keeping a little bit of something and everything. Stormy, we are so glad that you come back and we were able to see you. And we're going to catch up with you again when this is over, because this Odyssey needs an ending. We're just getting started. We need the end. We need the money shot here at the end. Yes. So make sure we get you back on soon, and everybody be careful out there. Be very
Absolutely. Careful. Thank you guys. I'm going to go inside.
Thank
and
you.
Go do your thing. Thank you for joining us.
Get in there and find a
good.
good.
So much, Stormy. Let's see you. Awesome. Well, very cool. Yeah, I was sensing at the end.
Scary.
We wanted to let her go. She's a busy girl. I love it.
Yeah,
man, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I love paranormal stuff, and it sounds like they have found a lot of stuff very quickly. I wanted to catch up. Deborah had said something about, I had never heard of hoodoo. So it's more of folk magic, but so she says hoodoo is darker than voodoo and uses Catholic aunts. Is that how you say that? Yeah, in its teachings. Ants.
Or aunt, depending on where you're from.
Yeah. It discovers this year. I brought it up in another podcast. It's very dark, very interesting.
That is.
I'd never heard of hoodoo.
Yeah. Hoodoo.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to this show because it sounds like she's already got a ton of great stuff.
Yeah.
And all this crazy stuff's happening. But also, Stormy Daniels is one to host, and her hot friend is one to host too. And you got
the one with the jawbone earrings.
What's the guy that's crying the whole time? I want to call him Vincent. What's the guy's name? The guy's crying.
If you had to ask me, I would have remembered.
That was great, though. I love that. That's how they. It's like the Waffle House thing, like if Waffle House closes, you're all dead.
Yeah, things are getting bad.
Eric, thank you for that laugh right there. You think that's bad? You should meet my ex-wife. Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. First-time listeners, please subscribe from wherever you're listening. We do interviews. We have interview series that we do with different people from all walks of life, all kinds of different things. And we also do our weekly podcast right here as well, where we'll bring it to you. It'll be in audio form. If you want to take this interview with you, it'll be up on audio form tomorrow, and everyone can enjoy it there. Or if you want to see her beautiful face and you're listening in audio form, come on over to YouTube and check it out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. That's about it, huh?
That's pretty much it, fellas.
And Mikey, did you say that our weekly show is every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time?
I did not, but thank you for bringing that up, Bishop.
Join us on all the platforms on that, and upcoming interviews, different nights of the week. And we do crazy shit
on the reg.
Right. Tracy's right. Justin was the name.
Justin. What? Vincent?
Playing with stuff they should, because he looked like a Vincent, okay?
He kind of did look like
a Vincent. People playing with stuff they shouldn't. Voodoo is to be taken serious. Listen, that stuff, that's what I was saying when I brought that up about, New Orleans taking a whole different level with that voodoo stuff. I've watched documentaries on that stuff. Oh yeah, Brandon, don't forget. Thank you. By the way, 9 a.m. tomorrow, the Pick and Flip podcast will be on, and then followed by the afternoon scratching with Bishop. Where are we at? So how much money I got? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, 15 right now.
15. All right. Well, I'll send you over 10. That's 25, and a big day tomorrow.
We are so diverse right here on this
big day tomorrow. Bishop turns 50, right?
Yeah, 53. I'm 53.
53. Well, we're trying to help you out by saying 50.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. No, yeah, big birthday. So if anyone wants to send me money, please do.
I think that's illegal to ask people to send you money for scratch offs, by the way.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
I was just saying in general. Just send me money in general.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want you sending money to the show. Just me.
Just Bishop.
Yeah.
Listen, we got that podcast money rolling in, baby.
Oh, we're fine, baby.
On the back end. We're good.
We're good.
The podcast money. It's doing its thing.
Right.
Listen, thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining us. Loved all the questions, by the way. That always adds a whole.
Yeah, one of the best chats we've had in a while, where people really, I feel like they enjoyed it, and I enjoyed having them all on. You guys are just as much part of the show as we are. So remember that.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Tracy.
My
Tracy. My Deborah.
Deborah.
Hey, Deborah, where's your mask at?
Where you going? Put your mask on.
Did you have car problems last night?
Oh my God.
How about them saying that you got to wear a mask while you're sitting there trying to film something like that? Can you imagine?
I mean, that's kind of tough. That's a tough. Filming is going to be very tough anywhere you go.
That's the sign of the times there, Creed.
Yeah, I guess so. And she's only a few minutes down the road since I'm just outside of Charlotte.
Yeah, you can probably be there in an hour.
Yeah.
An hour?
Hey.
20 minutes to Uptown.
20 minutes then.
Hey, you remember me?
Remember me? Phone?
You look familiar.
Hey, I'm here. You're here.
Hey, is your name? Are you Vincent?
Hey, Vincent.
Let me see your titties.
Oh yeah, Nick has some. Nick, yeah, because Nick sent a bunch of tickets, and you got other tickets, right? Because you broke them up.
Yeah,
between the two. So that's tomorrow
like
around 2:30 to 3, somewhere around there. Watch Bishop lose and me win somehow, or at least break even. But you got birthday luck on your side.
Birthday luck.
Hopefully.
Birthday sex.
Any last words? We cover everything. We good? We ready to go?
We're great. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that's 3 nights in a row, and then I got in the morning. But anyways, all right. Again, thank you guys so much, and make sure to check us out too. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that. We appreciate it. Connect with us on Facebook, facebook.com/CB Radio Show. Twitter is @CB Radio Show. Credence and Bishop Show on YouTube, and that's about it. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks again.
Bye.